Not every story has to be this huge, epic tale to really change how you see the world. Sometimes the most powerful lessons, the ones that really stick with you, are tucked away in these tiny little moments. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into right now. A short but really powerful story about connection, about routine, and about those chances that, well, you just can't get back. It all starts with a really simple question. 4 little words. For a son, Ravi, and his mother, this question, did you eat, was never really about food, was it? No, it was their thing. It was this nightly ritual, this unbreakable, reliable connection that tied their two worlds together, no matter how far apart they were.
Right. A call every night, the constant. I mean, this was everything. It was the foundation of their whole story. You could say it was built on this unspoken promise, this unbreakable routine that became the bedrock of his relationship with his mom. It was the one constant, the one thing he knew he could always, always count on.
I mean, just think about that for a second. Every single night, at 9 p.m., like clockwork. It didn't matter if Ravi was swamped with work, totally exhausted, or stressed out of his mind. That call was non-negotiable. It was this one solid point of stability in a world that's always, changing. And his reply was almost always the same. Yes, Ma. Even on days when he hadn't. And that right there, that tells you so much about their relationship, doesn't it? Sometimes you tell the people you love what they need to hear to not worry. It's that little white lie born out of love. It was just a familiar part of their bond that was always about the connection, not really about the dinner. All right. One forgotten moment, the disruption. So this constant, this dependable, almost automatic routine, it feels so solid, right? But the thing about routines, even the strongest ones, is that they can be incredibly fragile. And in this story, it just took one forgotten moment. One single moment for everything to fall apart. And the thing is, the disruption didn't come from a bad place at all. It wasn't neglect. It wasn't malice. It came from pure joy. Robbie got a promotion, a huge moment for him, a massive professional achievement. You know the kind of moment I'm talking about? It just completely takes over your world, consumes all of your attention. And of course, the celebration just took over. You've got friends all around, there's a party, there's just noise and energy and excitement. All of it, all of that good stuff, it just conspired to push that quiet, simple 9 p.m. routine completely out of his head.
Okay, 12 missed calls, the turning point. This is it. This is the moment where the story pivots. The party is winding down, the noise starts to fade, and Ravi is about to get hit with a pretty stark reality. He's about to discover something, and then he's going to make a decision that will change everything.
So just look at this timeline for a second. The call was expected at 9 p.m. He doesn't realize it until 11:30 p.m. That's 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours is the gap between when that call should have happened and when Robbie finally remembers. And in that time, well, you had one person waiting and another who had completely forgotten. So when he finally pulls out his phone, he sees this number, 12. Just let that sink in. Not one, not two, 12. 12 missed calls. That's 12 separate attempts to reach him. And every single one of them, all 12, were from the same contact, Ama, his mom. You can almost feel it, right? Each one of those missed calls was like a little question mark, a small pulse of worry sent out into the night, just waiting for an answer that never came. And he's tired, maybe a little irritated with himself. And so he makes a decision that, well, it seems perfectly logical at the time, but turns out to be so wrong. He thinks, I'll call her tomorrow. She'll understand. He just pushes it off, completely confident that tomorrow is a guarantee, that it'll be just like any other day. The morning after, the consequence. But of course, tomorrow wasn't like any other day. And this is where the whole story just shifts. The celebration is over, and the quiet light of the morning brings with it the absolutely devastating, irreversible consequence of that one single forgotten call. His phone rings early the next morning, and you know how an early call can kind of jolt you awake? Well, this was different. He was planning on making a call, not getting one. And when he saw it wasn't her, he knew. This wasn't his mom. It was a neighbor. And what the neighbor says next just paints this unbelievably heartbreaking picture. They said she had kept her phone in her hand the entire night. She told the neighbor she didn't want to go to sleep until she heard from you, until you called. just waiting, holding on just for him. And then, after a silence that must have felt like it stretched on forever, the neighbor says, "And she never woke up." And then, after a silence that must have felt like it stretched on forever, the neighbor says, "And she never woke up." The unconnected call, the echo. So now, just completely reeling from this news, Ravi does the only thing he can think to do. He makes this one last, desperate attempt to somehow turn back time to fix this broken connection. He tries to make the call that he was supposed to make last night. You can just picture him, right? Staring at his phone, his hand trembling. That phone in his hand, it's not just a phone anymore, is it? It's a symbol of every single thing he just lost. The news is just so much, so overwhelming, that his body is reacting before his mind can even catch up. And so, for the first time in who knows how long, he's the one who calls first. He dials her number, just clinging to this desperate, impossible hope, saying her name, Amma. Almost like the word itself could somehow break through the silence. But this time, the call didn't connect. And that's the final, crushing reality of it. The one time he reaches out first, the one time he is absolutely desperate to hear her voice, there's just nobody there to answer. That connection is gone. Forever. Look, this story isn't about blaming Ravi for being happy or celebrating something great in his life. Not at all. What it is a really stark reminder that tomorrow is something we assume we have, but it's never, ever a guarantee. And it leaves us with a pretty simple but really profound question to think about. What call can you make today?